Hi, everybody. Hi, Dr. Stewart. How is everybody? 10 people here already. Wow, 2 likes, though. I am disappointed in all of you that haven't hit like. Welcome back, guys. So, today we're here to talk about Season 4, Episode 1, Varys Marlinitius. I can never say it. It's an actual feature on Mars, though. 2,500 kilometer long scars on Mars, canyons and whatnot. So anyway, Joe Cool says, first, I like this one. I like the twist that it was them that caused it all in the first place. Also the moral dilemma of having to let them destroy that planet, which in turn killed the dinosaurs. It all plays into Pike accepting his fate. Yes. This is, yeah, I'll read all this first and then I'll get to my opinion on it. They need Janeway to describe temporal paradoxes on board. Liane punching Raptor, though. LOL. That's going to be her story arc. Her genetics, her genes, her augmented genes playing out this season. It's going to be a thing. BJ said this episode had issues for me, but it would have been a great film where the bigger budget and running time could have solved issues. 1, make the Martians real aliens, not elves. 2, have the Enterprise not being a Death Star. Instead, have Martians steal the containment tech, then scale it up to transport antimatter that they can already produce. Transport antimatter they can already produce. Well, the Martians weren't warp capable. But anyway, BJ, have the Hellas Planitia, a 2,300 kilometer massive impact basin on Mars, be caused by antimatter superweapon that aims an antimatter stream at Planet 5 but blows up too. No, I don't like that. I like the elegance of this one. Have the Enterprise limited to low impulse, having to deal with other issues, giving Martians time to build and deploy weapon. No, I don't like that idea at all. The way this was wrapped up was perfect. The Enterprise has always been very powerful, General Order 24, but this episode does make it a Death Star. If the Martians can do it, they can do it too. BJ says, in reality, warping time and space would take energy equivalents to a sun, so any warp ship could be a Death Star. That dude Vince says, hello. BJ says, I give it a 6 out of 10. Girls' day out on the planet was great. Joseph says, hello. Joe Cool says, I know you have to get some people off the ship like Una, Ortegas, La'an, and Mbanga, but how they do that is the question. Well, La'an's going to die. I'm sure La'an's going to die. Una's going to get her own command. Ortegas, who knows? And Mbanga, he comes back. He's in TOS. So, but I assume he goes to another assignment. Anyway, I'm going to give you guys my thoughts on this episode. This is by far one of the best episodes of Star Trek ever. I know there's a lot to compare it to, but it's definitely shot up the ranks in maybe my top 10, because everything about this is beautiful. From the impact that killed the dinosaurs to the 5th planet becoming the asteroid belt to that affecting Earth and Mars, where they moved further from the sun and cooled down, which is good for both planets. Everything about this was phenomenal, and it all plays to my interests. Also, the dinosaurs. That was really cool as well. So this, for me, is like almost a perfect episode of Star Trek. Sure, there are 1 or 2 little small things that didn't make a lot of sense. We got to meet the new T'Lyn, because I'm going to call her T'Lyn because I don't know her fucking real name, the Vulcan. Hopefully she's in it more than T'Lyn was in Lower Decks, because T'Lyn was forgotten in just a lot of episodes of Lower Decks. So we'll see how that goes. Eric Martin says, the odd thing about temporal paradoxes is that sometimes effects can precede a cause. Yeah. I love it. I love this. I love the entirety of this episode and everything that it represents. It's a real mindfuck, and it's a great way to start the season. This one was a perfect way to start a season. The last episode in this season, episode 10, is called Future Enterprise, like yesterday's Enterprise. So that had better not disappoint. Lots of possibilities with that one. But this one really, really played to my interests, and for me was a great episode of Star Trek. Speaking of great, we have 25 people here. You're all great. Hit that like button, make you even greater. Make the channel great by liking and engaging. Hit that like button. Let's get those likes up to 20. Fleetpaw Swiftback is here with $2. Have no fear, I actually made it for once. I was going to make a comment like that, but welcome back, Fleetpaw. BJ says, Una is wrong. You can know how you will change the future if you got eaten by a T-Rex. You want to be there when you get back. You know, you change the future if you get eaten by a T-Rex. You want to be there when you... She was saying if she killed the T-Rex, but even if she killed the T-Rex, I mean, even if they didn't know they were going to cause the extinction of the dinosaurs, they knew it was happening soonish. So, anyway. One thing I want to say, and get it out of the way right now. A lot of people are going to bring up the Voth. The Voth were dinosaurs that evolved on Earth and left Earth 65 to 70 million years ago. When I first saw the crashed ship on Earth, I thought, maybe that's the Voth, because 65 million years ago. But I have a feeling that the Voth left Earth maybe 70 million years ago, which is 5 million years before the Enterprise shows up. So a lot of time for Mars to evolve more and any evidence of the Voth to be gone from Earth. So, small thing, I just want to point it out. People have already been saying the Voth should have been in this and whatever. But there you go. There's that. So, BJ says, I like the Vulcan. I do too, but we'll see how often she's in this. Eric says, oh my God, Fleetpaw's here. Joseph says, basically, it was the final countdown done right. Yeah. Trekyard is here. Good to see Trekyard. Fleetpaw says, right? It's like I vanished for half a year. You did. Yeah. Trekyard, this episode was phenomenal. I totally agree with you. Like I said, it shot up. It's probably my top 10 favorite Star Trek episodes now. This is just almost perfection. If the rest of the season is anywhere near this, which I don't think it will be, they wasted a lot of their special effects budget on this one. That last scene of Earth with the dinosaurs, not needed. Welcomed, but not needed. And that would have ate up a lot of episode or a lot of money. But, you know, they usually lead in with a bang in the first episode, save some of the budget for one of the ones in the middle to be spectacular, and also the series finale, or the season finale. But yeah. Fleetpaw, Lon punching the Velociraptor in the face with Chef's Kiss. Perfect. Yeah. Joe says, I didn't know that was the episode 10 title. Could you imagine if they do a Yesterday's Enterprise style episode like that and we see the TOS Connie through an anomaly or something? Yeah. The TOS Connie or the Enterprise D, which you could do. You got the Enterprise D bridge that they built for Picard. Bring that in. So they better not disappoint with that episode, because everybody's... And it also airs in September 22nd, I think, is the last episode. And September is also the month for the 60th anniversary of Star Trek. So it would make sense for it to be the TOS Enterprise as a homage. So they better not fuck it up, is all I'm saying. Grant McGregor, hey, how's it going? Hey, Cap, saw the episode. They did an oopsie with the technobabble. Space has particles, not consists of particles, so subspace is likewise. So Spock's saying particles of subspace, probably a typo. Perhaps, yeah. Small error, not too egregious in my opinion. Jay Moore says, wow, this is one of the best episodes of Trek I've ever seen. I absolutely agree with you, sir. My only nitpick is I wish that the planet warring with Mars was Venus, men versus women, but overall, amazing Trek. No, I like that it was the fifth planet. There's a book series called The Giants of Ganymede, and basically in the first book, the cover of the book is a NASA astronaut on the moon finding the corpse of a giant who's probably like 10 feet tall in a spacesuit, but it's just like a skeleton. And it turns out there was a fifth planet called Ganymede that had giants 10 feet tall, and they were purple. There's 2 or 3 books. I have vague recollections of it. My brother had the book, and the cover was so intriguing. I should see if I can find a picture of it, because it's actually like, I love the idea of the fifth planet, and that's why we have the asteroid belt, and this just played into that perfectly. Even Spock's saying like 4% of the planet was left essentially, and that becomes the asteroid belt. Is just, it's great. And that the missing that planet affected Mars and Earth's orbit, moved them further from the sun. They cooled down, much to Mars' detriment, but to humans, benefit. So anyway, that dude Vince, I'm a Trekkie through and through, but I don't have to have member berries all the time, which is what the Voth would have been to me. Oh, absolutely. I'm glad they didn't use the Voth. I'm just saying that a lot of people are calling out, well, 65 million years ago, the Voth, fuck off. It's 65 to 70 million years ago. So if they left 70 million years ago, that's 5 million years before the Enterprise shows up. That's a long fucking time. We're not talking 5 years or 50 years. 5 million. Million's a big number. So yeah, no problem with that. DJ says, now we know why the burn was so devastating. Every exploding starship would shatter a planet. Wonder how any planet would survive with warp ships in orbit. That is my issue with the antimatter. For the last time, not all the ships with dilithium crystals blew up during the burn. It was only the ones actively at warp. You're not going to be actively at warp near a planet, so it wouldn't affect any planets. The warp core had to be active for the ships to blow up. The ships that did have regular dilithium, those crystals were probably turned to dust or whatever, but they didn't blow up. So they're just stranded at different parts of the quadrant or whatever. So anyway, I don't want to talk about the burn because I've talked about it so much. Anyway, BJ says, what can be carried by two people can destroy a planet? Yeah, it's fucking antimatter. If antimatter comes in contact with matter, period, it's going to cause destructive forces like that. So yeah, you take the antimatter containment bottle with the magnetic thing inside containing the antimatter, launch it at something, yeah, it's going to fuck shit up. So Eric Martin says, to borrow an Ocean's 11 line, Fleet Pa, where the fuck you been? Been working and lurking. Nice. Trekyardians says, nah, the Voth seemed like a small population limiting species, so it was probably nothing really to notice being gone. Exactly. Jay Moore, when the alien was a giant woman, I was convinced it was Venus, but like all good Trek, kept me guessing until the end. They explained the debris asteroid perfectly. Moi, chef's kiss. Yes. Joe Cool, burn is stupid. Yes. Fleet Pa, the burn was dumb, but it's in the past, and we don't want to talk about the past except for the past 65 million years ago. Exactly, but it's also in the future. So, 900 years in the future. Anyway, it's fine. Paul P. 1701 says, how about the reference to the phone box? Could this be a hint to Doctor Who crossover? Yeah, it's the third reference to Doctor Who, if you're paying attention. Pelia last season said she did some exploring and, frolicking with the Doctor. And there's also the episode where the Enterprise gets eaten by that larger ship and it's tangled up in the stuff in the ship. There's a fucking TARDIS. You can see a TARDIS. This is the third Doctor Who reference. They're not going to do a crossover, but they were setting one up, but they're not going to do one. So that's what I've heard anyway, that it was the plan to maybe do one and so drop these little hints. But yeah, they're not going to go ahead with it. So anyway, 32 of you here, 18 likes. Hit that like button, guys. Let's get those likes up to 25 or 30. We can do it. Hit the like button. Jay Moore, I haven't enjoyed Trek this much since Picard Season 3 and Enterprise and A Mere Darkly decades before that. Absolutely. The pacing of this episode was phenomenal. I'm glad they got... By the way, it was 13 minutes until the opening credits. 13-minute opener. That's fucking impressive. I'm glad that we got a lot of the trailer stuff out of the way, such as, Pike on the horse. I expected a whole episode to be a Western type thing, and I didn't want that. Thank God that's just done now. Good. So there's that. Love the little... You just wanted to see me in my outfit, didn't you? And Spock's like, oh, maybe. It's like, come to my quarters, Mr. Spock. Fucking great. I love that. And yeah, Pike dealing with the loss of Patel. I mean, it's just all great. I mean, the first little bit was like, what the hell's going on? It's so dense, right? And then we get to this action, and the pace is just phenomenal. The story is great. Everything about this episode was just top notch, in my opinion. So, um, isn't Pelly amazing? Yes. I only like burn on my pizza crust. Sweet. Neil Hammersmith, solid episode. Happy to see no sign of Putzman fuckery in this episode. Yep. Tim McCaffrey, iridium was never used as a power source in Star Trek. It was the weakest link attempt. They didn't say it's a power source. It was used to initialize the engines, which I guess could be considered a power source, but it's not a power source. Listen to what Scotty says. They need it to initialize the engines. Then everything else takes over. That's all the iridium is for. Paul P., I forgot about those two. Thanks for reminding me. Oh, no problem. Jay Moore, Brits would say it's not a phone box, it's a police box. True. Trek or not, be funny if Pelia has some species, it's the same species as the Doctor. She's not. She's not a Gallifreyan. She is a Lanthanite, so. Sure says, honestly, I think those Doctor Who hints like that are idiotic. A little bit, yeah. But Donnie is here. Hello, Cap. Hello, Donnie. Pelly is great. Fleet Pause says, I think that teaser cold opener was the longest in Trek history. I think so too. BJ says, still see antimatter as being the same issue in Star Wars with the Holdo maneuver. Why steal a Genesis device when you can crash a starship into a planet? The antimatter it carries is enough. Well, yeah. But who's going to do that? Mark Lawrence, haven't finished it yet, but did they predictably forget about the Saurians? What? Just watch the episode, Mark. Good to see you, though. Jay Moore, also, the dreading a Western episode for season premiere quickly went away. Trek is back, baby. Yeah. Trekyards says, iridium, probably the catalyst. Yes, it is. Jay Moore, iridium is like a spark plug, that's all. Yeah, much like dilithium in the lithium is not a fuel source. Antimatter is the fuel source. The lithium is, it basically, you channel the plasma that's created by the antimatter mix into the dilithium crystals to refine it. You can achieve low warp without dilithium crystals, like up to warp 3. But then after anything up to warp 3, you need dilithium crystals to refine the process to get the. Anyway, we've talked about it. We've talked about it for years. Dilithium is not a fuel source, and iridium is just basically, a catalyst. Isn't iridium what the Cobalad need to survive? The Cobalad? I don't know what that is. Grant McGregor, to note about the Voth. Who said the Proto-Vulcans didn't take the Voth to space with them? Their exodus wasn't instantly from Mars. Also, I think them phasing was a nod to TNG's Vulcan artifact. Maybe. I don't think there's any connection between the Martians and Vulcan, though, so. Jay Moore, I just got done watching it, so I'm still in afterglow. Can't wait to watch again. Yeah, I've seen it 3 times now today, so as is typical when I do these. Donnie says that season 4 premiere for me was pretty decent for me overall. While I love some aspects, the dinosaurs at play at the end seemed a little underwhelming. I give the premiere a 7 out of 10. A solid 7 out of 10. I'm giving this one, this is spoilers for our live review and breakdown tomorrow. I'm giving this one a 10 out of 10 probably. Like I said, it's quickly shot up to like in the top 10 of my top 10 favorite Star Trek episodes ever. But I have interest in dinosaurs. I have interest in the fifth planet theory and whatever, and Mars and things like life being on Mars. Like it all ties into a lot of my interests, and so I ate that shit up. It was great. Trekyards says, because Genesis starts afresh, creating life, well flawed in the end. Yeah. Anyway, Donnie gives it a 7 out of 10, so I have to do my typical, I have to do what Sam would do. Donnie, you must hate it. You must think it's the worst thing ever. Anyway. Uh, Zorsh says, my only real gripe is that I think Pike should have had a bigger reaction to wiping out an entire species. He acted like it was no big deal after he did it, but other than that, I thought it was great. Yeah, but at the same time, it had to be done, and he didn't really realize it in the moment, even though he did subconsciously. So, fuck those insectoids. Insectoids are assholes. Plus, don't forget that in NX times, like 100 years ago or whatever, you know, the Zindi, who also had insectoids as part of them, you know, took a big swath of Florida. So fuck the insectoids, is what I say. Anyway, um, Donnie says, yet I hope next week's episode would be better. Likewise, what remains of season 4. I don't know how the next episode can be better. I just want this kind of consistency to spread across season 4 because this was phenomenal. And I expect the last episode, Futures Enterprise, is going to be also phenomenal. So, and it better do the 60th anniversary of Star Trek justice because, like I said, it comes out September 22nd, and September is the anniversary month for Star Trek. So it ties in nicely. Tomorrow's Enterprise, I love it. Do it. Anyway. BJ says, Klingons just want the boom. Eric Martin says, I love Mbanga's sense of humor. Yeah, I do too. I do too. Solaris says, hey, Captain, it's nice when they use in real life theories in sci-fi, such as Fifth Planet concept. Absolutely, yeah. Jay Moore, that's right. It creates life from lifelessness. Woo, Dr. Marcus. Not destruction, creation in 6 minutes. Really, Dr. McCoy, you must learn to govern your passions. Anyway, Trekyard, deuterium and antideuterium make up the fuel in form of matter and antimatter, but technically there is no fuel as there is nothing burnt, more reacted. Yes, yes, clean energy source. Dangerous, but clean. Fleetpaw throws in $2. Thank you so much. He goes, I hearted it. Dad was like, meh, he's dumb. Yeah, I don't know how you couldn't like this episode. Jay Moore says the dinosaurs at the end was a nice way to ramp down from the episode. 9.5 out of 10. Yes. BJ said Praxis is what I imagine a large antimatter factory and storage could going up would be like. Dad hasn't seen number 6, so we watched the first part with Sulu and the end battle. Donnie says, well, we're all honest people here. Yeah, I know. Just Sam always says, if your score is under 10, because you always used to give 10 out of 10s for everything, including Discovery shit, that he always said, you know, any score under 10 is, Donnie must hate it. So, anyway. Tim McCaffrey, massive spike in iridium found globally in geological records marks the asteroid impact that created the Chicxulub crater peninsula and wiped out the dinosaurs. It was written into this episode too. Yes, yes, it was, which is awesome. Fleetpaw, wonder if La'an's not feeling or reacting to pain is a sign of what's to come or what may happen to her. Will she go all con on Enterprise, try to take over the galaxy? I love that. This is going to be her story arc this season, which is fantastic. I love that M'Banga asks her, are you going to take over the galaxy? And she's like, I don't know. Like, that's, she says her mental state is confused. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. BJ said all the acting was great. Yes, and everybody got something to do, which is phenomenal. Zorsh says, would be cool if tomorrow's Enterprise showed us the Strange New Worlds Enterprise A. No, fuck that. You need to tie into the TOS or a future Enterprise like the Enterprise D or something. So, yeah. Fuck the Enterprise A. Unless it's the real Enterprise A with Kirk. Then I'm on board. Otherwise, no. No, I don't need to see the Strange New Worlds Enterprise A. Could care less. Donnie, I love the longest cold open Star Trek history as well, though. Yeah, 13 fucking minutes. Yeah. Mark Lawrence, damn, I meant Voth, not Saurian. I bet Sam will like the Martian outfits. He didn't comment about them, actually. And yes, Mark, the Voth aren't forgotten about. As I've said earlier in this live, the estimate was the Voth left Earth 65 million to 70 million years ago. So if they left 70 million years ago, that's 5 million years before Enterprise showed up. That's a long fucking time. So no, they didn't. like somebody else said in the chat earlier, if the Voth had been in it, it would have been a memberberry thing. And if you didn't watch Voyager or don't know who the Voth are, it would be. So I'm glad they just simplified it and didn't do that. But yeah. I was wondering what you meant by the Voth or the Saurians, Mark. BJ says there are some people who can't feel pain. Big issue. They don't notice burning themselves, cuts, aches, etc. They can hurt themselves by overstressing the body. Yeah, go watch the movie Dark Man. Liam Neeson. It's a fucking great movie. I love it. Solaris, in the season trailer, did I see a dragon chomping the Enterprise? Not chomping it, but like blowing flames on it. Yes, that's going to be in Once on a Time. Is like the 9th episode. It's going to be a fairy tale one, I'm sure. Jay Moore says, my only other minor nitpick is the yellowish planet at the beginning looked a lot like Earth, but so minor. Loved it. The yellowish planet at the beginning. Okay. Like Earth did when they landed. Okay. Fleetpaw. Dad's weird on the new shows. He hated Academy, loved Picard, loved Discovery, season 1, hated 2, liked 3 and 4, and wasn't impressed with 5. He hasn't liked Strange New World since season 1. You should have him, you should put him in a mental institute or, make sure he goes to the hospital. There's something wrong with him. Just kidding. Terrence says, hi, Captain Foley. What are you doing today? I am watching and reviewing Star Trek. Good to see you, Terrence. Donnie says, I'm fine on which other Enterprise we would see in the season 4 finale, whether the TOS Enterprise or an enhanced and augmented way, or the motion picture refit, or the A or the G. I don't want to see the fucking G. Fuck the G. Just show us the Enterprise D. You've already got the bridge set. If you really need to do something like that, you got a bridge set. Just use... I don't want to see the G. The G shouldn't even be the fucking Enterprise. That's another thing. Don't get me fucking started. Anyway, whatever. Grant McGregor, Cap won't like what I'll say, but I wish the episode had smarter lines for the episode. Things felt so too obvious right away. Pike should have questioned the Admiral if he or Starfleet knew. If he or Starfleet knew what? Clarify. Because Admiral or April didn't know anything until after the mission, when Pike let him know about the mission. He wouldn't have known this going in, and sending them there would cause this. That's not what happened. Donnie says, hello, Fleetpaw. I myself love the first 2 seasons of Discovery more than the final 3. Overall, the show was okay for me. Jack Senri says, oh, we're talking about Distant Origin. Yes, pretty much. BJ said, I just watched the Generation Tech video on Star Wars bridges. The Enterprise shuttlecraft and its stations and side windows reminded me of Republic Hammerhead cruisers, other ships that Alan reviewed. Oh, nice. I'll have to check that out. Tim McCaffrey says Clayface trailer had Darkman vibes. I don't think I've seen a Clayface trailer yet, so. Jay Moore, also, they told an incredible story in 1 episode, not a full season arc. This show should win all the awards. Yes. Grant McGregor, also, it was implied the Martians were the ancestors to Vulcans. Might have been a nod to Spock originally being half Martian. It's not implied that at all. Where did you get that from? Wow, no, that's absolutely not correct. Anyway, BJ says, everyone gets a window on the shuttle. This episode is extremely paradoxical, says Simpler Thoughts. Jay Moore, the planet where they were riding horses when they landed on Earth, all amazed. Again, super minor. Solaris says, and I've always wondered how animals are going to experience space travel. Eric Martin says, Ortigas is really annoyed by all the idiot lights on the helm. Yeah, that's there for a reason. Just turn it off, Mr. Scott. Jay says it looks similar to him. I didn't think so at all. It had floating fucking things, right? So, Trek or not, maybe this is where the Enterprise becomes a staple to Starfleet and why they always place too much importance on the name later, as they know it was responsible for ensuring humanity existed, lol. I doubt that. And Jay Moore, fuck the G, amen. Terrence Childs, the only reason why I watched the show Picard is because of the speeches that the man gave. And yet he didn't really give any in that fucking show. BJ says, Scotty and Ortegas arguing over the alarms at the helm remind me of master alarms of Apollo 11 landing on the moon. Yeah, absolutely. And I love how she calls him a wrench jockey. Frickin' engineers. Bloody pilots. Trek or not, imagine the Voth found out humans ensured the destruction of dinosaurs. LOL. Yeah. Fleetpaw, I know he needs to go to the nut house, but they closed all the nut houses in New York. I think he's gone loony. He's watched Voyager like 6 times already this year. He's just old. Or odd, yeah. All right. Donnie says, early this morning on YouTube, I watched a video called History Repeats, Star Trek Online Story Series, episode 198. I saw a customized Connie refit starship and wish that would have been the Enterprise G. Yeah, there's been a few cool Enterprise G things over the years. And they're all better than what we got. So, BJ says, Grant McGregor got Vulcan Martians from the ears. Millions of years of evolution makes them less extreme. No. That's a stretch. That's a huge stretch. Neil Hammersmith, isn't the Martian DNA found in many species across the Federation according to Mbanga? Yes, many. Didn't say humans, didn't say Vulcans, just said many. He would have said humans if it was, but humans weren't around yet. So, anyway. Fleetpaw, I get annoyed with all the idiot lights on cars anymore, LOL. I'm with Ortegas. Jay Moore says, can so relate to Ortegas. Tech guys always giving us blinking lights, beeps, LOL. This show is hit all 8 cylinders. Neil Hammersmith, fuck the G. Hail Cannon. Star Zendana. I'm watching Star Trek TNG Season 4 episode First Contact, but I feel sorry for the Enterprise G, formerly the Titan A. She's being hated for no good reason. It didn't seem fair. First of all, to rename that ship from the Titan A to the Enterprise G was disrespectful to the Titan legacy. So fuck that. Also, Enterprises are the flagship of the Federation, and they got bigger. Each version gets bigger. So you got the Enterprise F, which is this big, and you get the fucking Enterprise G. It's bullshit. They've even said that in the beginning of Picard season 3, or just the beginning of Picard, that the Titan is it's a science ship. It's not built for what they were doing. Taking on what's her nuts with the Shrike. Can't remember her name. Yeah, so it's not even a capable ship. It's just a science vessel. It's not like the Enterprise, which should have everything at its disposal. So yeah, it's just bullshit that it, the design's fine because it's based on Bill Cross's Shangri-La class, which is awesome, but that was originally designed to be a motion picture era ship, which works perfectly. And then they just modernized it, changed the nacelles, and upscaled it, but they didn't change any features on it. So the airlocks were upscaled with the ship, so the airlocks are fucking huge. It just doesn't make any fucking sense. And also the decks on the saucer rim are, for motion picture era, they're 2 decks, like the Enterprise, but no, you scale it up, it just doesn't make any sense. Jay Moore, wrench jockey is now my favorite. Now in my vocab, yeah. Fleetpaw, and yes, fuck the G. I know, I'm behind. Eric Martin, Trekyards should do fuck the G baseball hats as merch. Hell yeah, I agree. That's awesome. Donnie says, come to think of it, that starship in a vid I see this morning should have been the Connie 3 class starship in general. Don't get me started on Connie 3 bullshit. That's just also stupid. Terrence Childs, I have a question for you, Captain Foley. I would like to hear your thoughts on the Federation metaphysics cloaking device. Is that the one that the Pegasus was using? The transphasic cloak? I don't know what a metaphysics cloaking device is, so. Trek or not says, it's a funny situation with the Prime Directive, as he should have prevented the planet's destruction, but went against it to destroy an entire race to ensure humans existed. Quite a dilemma, actually. Yeah, and also not really. Like, I just put it simply after it happened, it's like, there is no 5th planet. And now there's no 5th planet. Things are right. And he also said it was a hunch. He didn't have any facts or data. It was just a good hunch. Yeah, I have no problem with it. Donnie says, I understand the complaints from the Curse the G crowd, though. Fleet Paw says, no such thing as a Connie 3. It's a Constitution 25th century and an Excelsior 25th century. I absolutely hate the uninspired naming conventions of the 25th century. Fuck that. Plus, yeah, you're not going to have the Connie 1 or the Connie class, which is the TOS Enterprise. And the Constitution 2 class, they say is the refit. That's bullshit, first of all. And then you wait, 100 years to name another ship the Constitution Class 3? It's just stupid. It's just stupid. That's a Terry Metalis thing. He wanted to like show love to the Constitution class and to that era and that design philosophy. So that's why he used Bill Cross's motion picture era design ship to become that ship. And then, of course, to appease the fans, he called it the Connie 3 class, which is fucking stupid. Like I like Terry Metalis. He's a great guy, but that's just a bad decision. So Solaris, in Starfleet, ship names always go with the registrations, or is the registration only with the abbreviation, such as the NCC or NX, for example? Well, ship names change, but there was a USS Defiant, which was a Constitution class in TOS, and then we get the Defiant in Deep Space Nine. So only ships that have done something legendary or historic essentially get to keep their registry, and then they get the suffix after the registry number. Very few ships have that honor. Most ships just their registry is gone after the ship's gone, and another ship will get named it, whether it's the same class or not. So Grant McGregor, go back to the episode, and Benga was hinting at them possibly being Vulcan through mentioning several different races. Plus the costumes was too similar to Strange New Worlds and Nemesis outfits. No. 100% no. I've seen the episode 3 times, and Benga makes no such inclination that Vulcans are descendants of Martians. That is incredibly fucking stupid. I'm sorry, but that's not at all what was in that episode. I'm sorry, Grant. I'm sorry. Vatic, that's her name. Thank you. Solaris and P.S. Padron spell check, no help. Okay. No, Solaris, keeping the numbers is reserved for special ships such as Enterprise. We've seen multiple ships with the same name but different registry numbers. Yeah, 100%. Donnie, still the final season of Picard remains my number 3 streaming show of 2023. Behind that of High School Musical, the musical, the series. That's a fucking mouthful. Simpler Thought says someone was trying to say metaphysics shielding from the old Dr. Crusher Ferengi episode. Okay, that's not cloak, though. It's not metaphysic cloak. It's shielding for entering a sun's chronosphere or whatever it is. So yeah, I don't know. Neil said, would it be fair to say the reason Mbanga concluded that the Martian DNA is found in many species across the Federation is because of the progenitor's efforts as explained in The Chase? Maybe. I don't know. Baseball cap. Oh, geez. Chuck says, I didn't catch that promotion April was offering Pike. Was it Fleet Captain or something else? It was Commodore. He was offering a Commodore promotion. I also don't think that's how promotions work. I don't want that promotion, but I'm going to take this promotion token and give it to this person. Plus, I thought that Una was already a commander, so I expected her to be getting promoted to captain. I mean, I'm sure they say lieutenant commander at some point in this series, but it just doesn't clock with me. I always associate first officers as commanders, even though I don't think Spock was in season 1 either, TOS. But anyway, small thing. Donnie says, at one point I stated that I wish the Enterprise G would have been a Ross-class starship. Oh, well. No, that's also a bad idea. No sense going back to something like that's going back to the Enterprise D again, essentially, Galaxy-class, but Ross-class upgrade. No, you can't do that. You can't move backwards. You got to move forwards. Yeah, anyway, it's fine. Paul P says, I agree. Titan A should not have been renamed. That was one thing I wasn't happy about as well. Yeah, it's disrespectful to the ship and its legacy. Oh, we're going to rename your ship to something else. Fuck your legacy. Yeah. Barry F. It also makes no fracking sense that the Next Generation was 100 years after the original series. The Next Generation's 80 years after the original series. Well, 80 years after the motion picture era. So, why doesn't that make sense, though? It makes perfect sense. Fleet Paw said, real world example of registries and ship names. There have been 3 carriers named Enterprise. They've all had different hull numbers, 6, 65, and the future one is 80. Yes. Joe Cool, if they were going to rename the Titan A, it should have been the Picard, not Enterprise G. Yeah, I said that last night as well. Yeah, name it the USS Picard. That would have been a great honor to Picard. I wouldn't have fucked up the Enterprise legacy. You could have had another Enterprise sitting right beside it going, holy shit, there's a new Enterprise. But no. Donnie said that would have been nice. Solaris says, and I would assume that every ship has named shuttlecraft. Yes, and the captain gets to choose the names. Like Riker's ship, the Titan, the Luna class, had shuttles that were all named after jazz musicians. The Enterprise shuttles are all named after explorers or like innovators. The shuttle in tonight's episode was the Curie, the Madame Curie. You got Galileo, you got Copernicus, you got Magellan. Those are all Enterprise ship name or shuttle names. So yeah, every ship has like a theme for their shuttles. Trekyardians says Una was probably held back a lot due to her abilities. Maybe. Oh my God, Sam's here. Support the channel and super chat your thoughts. We certainly want to keep the channel going and we need your help to do so. Or PayPal for more support at trekyards@hotmail.com. Do all the things he said. Support the channel. Also hit the like button. We have 45 of you here, 33 likes. Hit that like button. Let's get up to 40. You can maybe even hit 50. If you haven't hit the like button yet, please do so. Yeah, super chat in, PayPal in, much appreciated. And yeah, do anything you can to support the channel. And join us in the live tomorrow. It's probably going to be early. I think it's going to be at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow. So 3 to 5 instead of 4 to 6 because Sam's got stuff to do. So we're going to do it early tomorrow. Joe Cool says, isn't he an admiral when he has his accident, not a commodore? No, he's a fleet captain. He's not an admiral when he has his accident, no. James 37 says, I agree. I would not think she was a lieutenant commander. I would assume the XO would be a commander by default. Jay Moore says, also, love the Vulcan cadet. Funny relief from action scenes. Should be great character going forward. Hopefully. She's going to be like T'Lyn from Lower Decks. When she's on, she's good. But she's also forgotten for many episodes. I think that's going to be a thing. Eric Martin, they could have shown a new Enterprise G under construction in the dock and left it at that. Yeah, exactly. Donnie says, I do agree with those who believe the USS Syracuse's call sign should have been NCC 71744 instead of NCC 17744. Okay. Trek or not, be interested if the Martians use interplanetary portal gate technology. Barry F. said a generation is about 20 years. Yes. But it's not implying literally the next generation. It's just the next generation of the next generation of the next generation of the next generation. So if that's what you're saying, it's a show title. It's not implying literally a generation. So I don't know what to tell you. Fleet Pass said, who the hell summoned Sam? Nobody. Neil says the progenitors seeded their genetic code across the galaxy approximately 4.5 billion years ago. I think the Martian character design could have been more original rather than look Vulcan. Well, it didn't look Vulcan. The ears were much bigger and they were rounded at the top. They weren't pointed. So I don't know what the fuck this whole thing is of they look Vulcan. They don't look Vulcan. I never once thought, oh, look, a Vulcan or a proto-Vulcan. No. Plus, they got this fucking shit going on their foreheads. So, anyway. Wow. Paul says, wow, mind blown. Trek fan all my life and just learned about the shuttles. Wow, I feel foolish. I didn't put it together sooner. No problem. Not a lot of people know the kind of minutia. Yeah, but Riker's shuttles were all named after jazz musicians like Coltrane and um, I can't think of another one, but they're all named after jazz musicians. Jay Moore says shuttle Madame Curie. It's just Curie, and it's Curie, not Y. Wasn't an accident with 3 women on the planet, but it didn't matter. Didn't hit us over the head. Perfectly done. Tim McCaffrey says all the runabouts were major rivers. Yeah, and that's Cisco's. There's even a scene where he's like, I still want it. I still want them all named after rivers. What can we name the next one? Because they kept getting destroyed. And got the Rio Grande. We got the yeah. So Cisco picked major Earth rivers for the names of the runabouts for Deep Space Nine. It's kind of the commander's prerogative. I mean, if you get a ship and they're already named, you might not be able to rename them. I don't know, but there's a whole scene of him deciding the name for the newest runabout because they kept losing runabouts. That was a thing at the beginning. So BJ said, I do agree that TNG was too far in the future with all the Oberths, Miranda, and Excelsiors running around. I would have said it in the 2330s, so about 40 years after Star Trek 6. Well, they want to do something drastic and go far in the future, so. BJ says Picard would have been like a cadet at the very end of Kirk's career. Another question, another generation. It doesn't quite have the same ring to it. Star Trek, another generation. The next generation's definitive. Another generation is like, it could be this, it could be that. I don't know. Eric Martin says, just like the Constellation and Doomsday Machine should have been NCC 1710. Yes, instead of 1017. But there's a precedent there that constellation was named after another one that had something important happen to it, and it just carried the registry with the name. So that's why it's a Constitution class that starts in 10 instead of 17. You can come up with things to retcon these and fix it, so it's fine. Trek or not, generation actually would be longer in the future as people live a lot longer. Donnie says, well, TNG does remain my #1 golden age and overall Star Trek show, followed by TOS, yet James Kirk remains my 31st overall Star Trek captain, followed by Jean-Luc Picard. Kirk is your 31st overall captain? Holy fuck, dude. I didn't know there were 31 captains. Joe Cool says, yeah, they looked more like The Last Airbender than Vulcans to me. Star Trek, another generation, just doesn't have the same oomph. I totally agree. Ace Sure says, wow. Now the question is, can there be multiple shuttles with the same name? Possibly, because they all have the registry number of the ship and then their designation, like Galileo's NCC 1701-7, because it's the 7th shuttle. So, maybe. Donnie says, I'm fine with an upcoming Star Trek movie reboot taking place after the events of Nemesis, though, but with a new Federation starship crew and captain. Fleetpaw, member for 74 months at the rank of captain. Thank you, Fleetpaw. I know the minutia. It won me a bunch of money at my first Trek convention 2 years ago, LOL. I think Titan Age shuttles were named for famous officers who commanded ships named Titan, so like Savick, Riker, etc. Yeah, under Shaw. Shaw's... Okay, that's what I said. Riker's Luna class, his shuttles were named after jazz musicians. Shaw's Titan, yes, there was the Savick, and then because Savick commanded the NCC 1717, which was the Shangri-La class, which was motion picture era. Yes. So it's implied that, yes, the shuttles on the Titan A were, in fact, Shaw's choice to do former Titan captains. Joe Cool says, yeah, he wanted to name it the Rubicon, and Kira said, at that rate, that's the way we go through runabouts. It's a good thing Earth had so many rivers. I think the runabout is the Danube class too. Yes, it is, yeah. Of the Rio Grande's the one that kind of sticks around. It's the one that lasts the longest. Fleet Paw, they are Danube class runabouts. Yes, I'm still waiting for a Susquehanna and a Niagara and a Mississippi. LOL. Trekkernaut says, "Be funny on Deep Space Nine if the added crossed out Wayuns to the runabout hulls every time they killed one." Trekkernaut could start using South Nile, North Nile, etc. Solaris says the pugs appeared. Haha. Yeah, the pugs are here. You can probably hear them. Holy shit, I caught up. So in conclusion, this is a fucking phenomenal episode. This is something that Star Trek can do very well and did very well in this instance. If this had been Discovery, they would have fucked it up somehow. It would have been Michael Burnham that had to say, save all of humanity. I'm glad it was Pike because, damn. They did that to the Defiant. Yeah, USS Sao Paulo. I want to rename it Defiant. Joe Cool says, okay, he's caught up now. It's time for food off the rails moments. Yeah, pretty much. We're almost at an hour. Usually at the hour mark is when that kind of stuff happens. Anyway, yeah. Jay Moore says, just confirmed from closed captions, the shuttle with the 3 female crew was named Curie after the famous female scientist. Like I said, this is how you do it, not in your face. Well done. Exactly, yeah. Fleet Paw said, yeah, but the nose art was destroyed when the Defiant was destroyed. Yes. Donnie, still, I love all generations of Star Trek, both good and bad, despite the Section 31 movie being tied with the recent War of the Worlds movie as my #1 Hollywood disaster of 2025. That new War of the Worlds movie, fuck, dude, that is awful. That is a shit show. Anyway, yeah. Eric Martin says, Michael would have started crying when she saw the dinosaurs. The dinosaurs, yeah. Ezra Balestein says, I give the episode a 9. Pelia is still a useless ditz. Textical says, hey, Cap, I came here late. Have we speculated that tomorrow's Enterprise may be a pitched year 1 Kirk's Enterprise? Well, like I said, it happens September 22nd. That's when it's being released. September is the anniversary month for Star Trek. It would make sense for it to be a TOS future Enterprise. So, yeah, maybe. It's not going to be a year 1 thing, though. It could be them working with Kirk as captain of the Enterprise. That actually makes a lot of sense. But it's got to be TOS related in some way as a homage to the 60th anniversary, in my opinion, anyway. So, but yes, absolutely. Could be anything. Solaris says, well, they have shown that they can tell a story and not do fan service. Yeah. Vipa said, oh, you take that back, Ezra Balestein. LOL. Pelia is awesome. Eccentric, but awesome. Yeah, I love Pelia. She's great. Joe Cool. I didn't even know there was a new War of the Worlds movie. Yeah, it's with Ice Cube, and it's fucking garbage. I suggest you watch it. It's one of those movies that's so bad it's good, because you get a lot of laughs out of it, but it's fucking awful. It is really bad. Barry F. said, there have only been 3 or 4 good remakes. Yeah, War of the Worlds is one of those things that I'm a huge fan of. I got a really good novel, which I showed off one of my shelf-by-shelf series of a modern War of the Worlds. Where the fuck is it? It might be at the back. Anyway. So yeah, it's A-10s and like modern fighter jets facing off against Martian tripods and stuff. It's really quite cool. It's a good book. Donnie says, have seen the latter movie with Ice Cube only once, yet never again will I ever see it. No disrespect to those that enjoyed that recent War of the Worlds movie. Donnie, no one enjoyed the recent War of the Worlds movie. Don't worry, you're not disrespecting anybody. The movie was absolute dog shit. So, Jay Moore says, Madame Curie discovered radioactivity. Ahoy, hoo, Dr. Curie, yes. Jill is here. Good to see you, Jill. Hello. Hello. It's Jill. Hey, Jill. There was an interesting timey-wimey episode. Yeah, it was fucking great. Jill says, dang, I missed the episode talk. I suggest you go back and rewatch the live after I'm done because we say a lot of good things about this episode. I'm sorry you missed it. I found it phenomenal. It's a fantastic episode. Put it that way. BJ says, I like the Valerian and Laureline comic Shin Lose Incorporated, where life on Earth is descended from the snoot DNA of time-traveling aliens who sneezed on ancient Earth, who then file a patent on it. Interesting. Fleetpaw says, timey-wimey. Yeah, that's Doctor Who reference. Ezra Bilstein says, I hope they don't fuck up the 60th anniversary episode like they did with the DS9 themed episode in Starfleet Academy. Yeah. It was a near miss with that one. There's some good elements to that episode for sure, but it wasn't as good as they hyped it up to be. Ezra Bilstein, what episodes do you get Sulu and McCoy? Well, maybe next season. Who knows? Trek or not, Blade Runner 2009 TV show looks good. Still's released today. I haven't seen that yet. Star Zendana. I'm a little nervous of watching Star Trek Strange New Worlds, and I adore Star Trek TOS. I'm a bit torn. Don't be. Strange New Worlds does a fantastic job, and I've enjoyed every season. A lot of people say season 3 kind of is a miss for them. I disagree. I think it was fun. I wouldn't be afraid to watch it. I think you'll enjoy it. Solaris. Oh, they have released a new Christmas Carol movie trailer, and it has Johnny Depp as Scrooge. Yeah, I saw that. I haven't seen the trailer yet, but I saw Depp as Ebenezer Scrooge. And I love A Christmas Carol, I gotta say. Alistair Sim, though. Alistair Sim is great. That's a whole other discussion. We'll have that discussion at Christmas. Maybe what's the best Christmas Carol movie? Anyway. Barry F. says, Madame Curie died from her discovery. Damn it, Jim. Jill says, the Martian commander really comes across as fantastic on second watch. A poignant, tragic anti-hero. Yeah, it was really well done. And I love that it's implied that they're not warp capable, so they're just flying around in system, and the only thing they've encountered is these reptilians which attack their planet. So it's always like weapons. Is your science station designed to see the weakness of the enemy? Like, it's always about weapons with them. So yeah. Trek or not says they really should do an anthology series where Depp plays different characters each episode. Yeah. Fleetpaw Swiftbat throws in $2. So thank you so much for the super chat, Fleetpaw. Much appreciated. And he says, which was worse, War of the Worlds or Section 31? Wow. War of the Worlds. Yeah. Section 31 at least had some money and did some good special effects. War of the Worlds, not so much. So War of the Worlds is worse than Section 31. And it hurts me to say that. And I curse you for making me say that out loud. But BJ says, is Blade Runner 2009 streaming? Not sure. Joe Cool says, I feel like we need to get Sulu and Bones this season because next is so short that would be rushed. Also, you don't need them, really. I mean, Bones, I think, should come on board, although he wasn't in Where No Man Has Gone Before. We still had, what was his name? Dr. Fuck, I can't remember his name now. We just reviewed that not that long ago. So McCoy wasn't actually there for Where No Man Has Gone Before. I mean, you can meet him for sure. Sulu also wasn't a bridge crew in Where No Man Has Gone Before. He was one of the department heads. So you could bring him on, but Kirk would bring on some of his own people. So there might be an episode in Strange New Worlds where Kirk and Sulu were doing a thing together on another ship. Who knows? Stars and Donna, thanks for assuring me. No problem. I enjoy Strange New Worlds. Every episode, I look forward to it. I have a smile on my face through most of them. They're fun, and I feel good at the end of them. It's not like Picard season 1 and 2 where I fucking just got PTSD from them stretching the story out so much. It's not like Discovery where it's like disappointing most episodes. Strange New Worlds is good. I enjoy it. It's very episodic. It's very much like TOS. So, Trek or not, Neuromancer TV shows coming soon, as well will be epic, hopefully. Yes. Oh, 43 people here and 43 likes. Can we get 2 more likes? I want to get to 45. Oh, actually, I want to get to 50, but 2 more likes. Let's get to 45. Joe Cool says, oh, Kat, by the way, your review of the new Hallmark shuttle was great. I have to pick that up. Also, the Blackbird from X-Men 97, just because it plays the theme. Got to have that. Yeah, and tomorrow on my personal channel, I'm reviewing the Cerritos ornament. So check that out. And next Friday, hopefully, maybe, I'm going to cover the new Lego TOS set. Is it worth it? So check that out. Thank you, by the way. However, should I relive Section 31 again, I'll do it just for Jeff Russo and Michelle Yeoh. Michelle Yeoh is not good in that, I'm sorry to say. Just because she won a fucking award or an Oscar or whatever doesn't mean she's good in everything. Who I really like in that show is, I can't remember their fucking names because I watched it 3 times, and then we reviewed it. But the half android guy, I like his character. I think he's great. So anyway. Fleet Paw says, just doing my job. What are you just doing your job with? Oh. Asking the hard questions. Yeah. Yeah, Piper. Bryce was the cage. Yeah. Jay Moore. Google said voice. Now I can't trust anyone or anything. LOL. Joe Cool. Ugh. Discovery. 6 episodes to resolve a single plot point. Yep. And not well, by the way. No. Even Picard season 1 and 2, they had really good ideas for stories, but they dragged it out to 10 episodes, and it just like I said, it's a piece of chewed bubble gum. It's great. And then you do this. You pull it further and further apart. And all of a sudden, in the middle, it gets all stringy and thin because it's shit. Keep it together. They could have done 2 or 3 stories a season and have them be 2 or 3 part episodes. Have a bunch of good stories instead of one good story that they ruined by making it too long. Because that's exactly what Picard season 1 and 2 were. Trekker Not says, checked out Star City yet, Kat? Not yet. Me and Sylvia are going to watch it. We just finished watching the last season of For All Mankind. And before we go into Star City, we're rewatching For All Mankind again. And we're up to season 3. Yeah, we just started. No. I think we're just at the end of season 3. We're going to be going to season 4 and then watch 5 again and then watch Star City. So yes, that is our plan. But we decided to watch all of For All Mankind again. Donnie says, yes, Dr. Phil Boyce, not to be confused with Dr. Phil McGaw. Jay Morris says, I believe all computers. Barry F. throws in $5. Thank you so much, Barry. That is much appreciated. It says, Kapla is one of the few words where you doesn't follow Q. Or you doesn't follow Q. Gotcha. That's because it's an alien language, so it doesn't have to. Donnie says, well, it's dinner time for me. Thank you, Captain, and I'll see you again tomorrow afternoon. Hopefully, till then, may you and yours live long and prosper. Thank you, Donnie. Have a good dinner. Thank you for joining us, and I hope to see you tomorrow as well. Jay Moore says, the only other one I can think of is Qantas, the best airline in the world, LOL. It's Australian. It's Qantas, isn't it? It's Qantas Airline, not Qantas. Oh, here's Fleetpaw, the Klingon wizard. Kapla also does follow English language rules. Make sure you put that on there, or you'll have a different word that isn't quite so nice. Yes, to Fleetpaw you listen. Trek or not, the sequel seasons for Expanse are also in development. Nice. For me, though, and this is totally off topic, if you have not watched For All Mankind and don't want to have anything spoiled, I'm going to hold my hand up while I talk about this, so mute me until then, but I gotta say, spoilers, when my hand goes down, you can come and listen. For me, For All Mankind died with Ed Baldwin. When he died, for me, the series was over. So, anyway. Welcome back. Hopefully you enjoy For All Mankind. It's great. Sean says, Pops head in. How's the episode, everyone? Seeing it later tonight. It's fucking phenomenal. For me, it's probably a 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10, maybe 9.8 out of 10. It's great. It's fucking great. It ties in a lot of things I really enjoy, and it is an excellent piece of Star Trek. One of the best Star Trek episodes, in my opinion. It's definitely my top 10 of Star Trek episodes. It's shot right to the top. So, it's great. Hopefully that'll build up your expectations too much, and that'll be dashed because... yeah, anyway, it's great, Sean. Check it out. And join us tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for our review. Yes, it's at 3 p.m., not 4. It's going to be at 3 till 5, so check us out. Jay Moore says, Qantas. I screwed my own joke. You did. You did. Joe Cool says, I saw the Cerritos ornament. I might pick it up. But like most modern ships, it's a shame it has no lights or sounds. 100% agree with you. Check out my video tomorrow. I maybe redeem it a little bit with something I do in the episode. So, anyway. Jay Moore. Ugh, whenever I hear Klingon, I hit the universal translator button so fast. Trekyardians says, Ed was a fucking legend. Absolutely. Grant McGregor says, For All Mankind is a Kurtzman production. Is it, though? Because it's done by Ron Moore. Michael and Denise Sakuda work on it. There's a few good things that are Kurtzman productions. Doesn't mean he had anything to fucking do with them. And there's a lot of shit that he had a lot to do with because he wrote them, and they're absolute dog shit. So, you know, it's one of those things. Joe Cool. Experience at. Trekyardians says, it's Ronald D. Moore. Yes. Aaron says, fun. Fleetpaw says, maybe you should learn it, Jay Moore. Jay Moore. That way you don't need the universal translator. Graham McGregor says, sorry, I mistook For All Mankind for another sci-fi. I haven't seen the series yet. Yeah, I didn't think Kurtzman was involved. It is Ronald D. Moore, so. You kind of had me, like, scratching my head there for a second going, oh, God, I fucking hope he's not associated with it. It's too good for that. It's too good for that. Jay Moore said, it's fucking great if you like real Trek. Yeah. Solaris, Captain, do you think that we will ever get a third season of Prodigy and that Halo TV series? Probably not. Probably not to either one. If they're going to do more Halo, they're going to redo it and do it properly. And Prodigy, unfortunately, we might get a movie at some point, maybe, and that might be in 5-10 years, something like that. But again, I wouldn't hold your breath. You're not going to get a season 3, I don't think, and it's sad. It's fucking sad and pathetic. Fleetpaw, it's all real Trek. I'm even the ones you don't like. Insert Garrick and Bashir memes here. Especially the ones you don't like. Fleetpaw, LOL. Sorry, bro. I respect your honor, of course, but some accents just disagree with me. LOL. Aaron Unsafi. It's been a bit since I've watched any of your content. Yeah, I mean, I recognize your name, but welcome back. Michael Skyros says, just here to hit the like. Thank you, Michael. Much appreciated. Hadn't watched the episode yet. Well, go watch it and enjoy, and tune in tomorrow for our first reaction, or not first reaction, for our complete review and breakdown. Trekyardians says, Silo and From are good shows. Silo and From. Slayer says, what about a Lower Decks movie? Yeah, we'll probably get that. I can see that being something that it's probably a streaming movie. Same with Prodigy. But yeah, I could see them definitely doing a Lower Decks thing. Yeah, 100%. Jay Moore, I put that universal translator set to super general North American English. Does that make me a hate criminal? Hope not. LOL. Paw says, that's okay. Klingon isn't for everyone. You have to enjoy spitting all over people when you talk. And Aaron says, thank you. Well, thank you. Thank you for coming and watching the content. You guys are what makes this channel go. Speaking of, we have 40 people here and 46 likes. Hit that like button. Let's get those likes up to 50, guys. Come on, 50. 4 more likes. Some of you haven't hit the like button. I guarantee it. Let's see how high we can get it. At least 50. Klingont. We're talking about, LOL. I respect it. I just prefer it from afar, LOL. Trekyardians says, a lower decks elite force. Come on, give us the precious. The precious is. Precious is behind me. That's one of my pugs. Fleetpaw. So like Minnesota, American accent. Minnesota. Jay Moore says, sometimes I need the universal translator for Sam. Yeah, I know. You know our closeout where I say, or our intros to videos or our closeouts where I'm like, he's Commander Calkins. And you go, he's Captain Foley. I started doing that because he'd say, and I'm Commander Calkins. And people didn't know his fucking name for the first like year because he said it so fast. And I'm Commander Calkins. It's like, what is his name? So I just started saying his name, so he had to say my name, and my name he can't fuck up because she has to think about it and doesn't just glaze over it fast. So, yeah, I hear what you're saying. Grant McGregor says, on the topic of the episode, I'm placing my bet on will be going to Vulcan to enact some sort of Kulinar to control her behavior or something like that. Maybe. I kind of doubt it, but maybe. Dante says, I like the channel and I like the episode tonight. It's up there for new Trek. 100%. Yeah. And thank you for liking the channel. If that's what you're talking about is this channel. Appreciate that. But yeah, it's absolutely up there for new Trek. Just for Trek in general, in my opinion. BJ says, I got you 49 with my other 2 account. Oh, thank you. That's cheating, but that's fine. I appreciate it. 50. We're at 50 now, so that's good. Jay Moore. You betcha. You know what I'm talking about. Trekyardians says, accents in Fargo are awesome. You know, Minnesotans, they have more of a Canadian accent than some Canadians. I'm just saying. Slayer says, one thing about learning a new language is if you have no one to talk to, it can be difficult to get right. Yeah. Grant McGregor says, another thing about the episode, they showed the Defiant, but they didn't show a Kali or Protostar. Man. Another thing about this episode? What episode are you talking about, Grant? I'm confused. Joe Cool says, man, Elite Force games were peak. Also surprising that Kelvin game on the PS3. I actually like the Kelvin game. It's actually pretty good when the AI works properly, or if you're playing with somebody else. I actually enjoyed it. I did a video on it very early on my personal channel. I enjoyed it, and you get to see the engine room, the actual engine room of the Enterprise, not that fucking engine room they showed us, which was a brewery. You actually get to see an actual engine room, and it looks pretty cool when you're fighting the Gorn, and the Gorn are even cool. The Gorn are a cool design, so yeah. Fleetpaw throws in $2. Tritos for the puggies. Thank you, Fleetpaw. Much appreciated. Barry F says, and he's Captain Foley. Yes, I am. Oh, it's Sam. And he's Captain Foley. He doesn't do that, though. And he's Captain Foley because he has to enunciate it and he has to think about it. That's why I switched one day and just said, he's Commander Calkins and he's Captain Foley. So that way people understand what our fucking names are. I guarantee you, if I start going, I'm Captain Foley, he'll say, and I'm Commander Calkins. It'll be good for a while, and then it's going to be, and I'm Commander Calkins. And I'm Commander Calkins. It's like, no. Say it slowly. But yeah. Anyway. Trek or not, you guys from Beverly Hills Cop. You guy from Beverly Hills Cop probably call you Stuvart. Okay. Jay Moore. Oh my God, Minnesota is Canada Junior, eh? Absolutely. Aquil Foley. LOL classic. Yeah. Aquil. Dante DeGraff. I saw that too on the intro. Right? Oh, for the 60th anniversary intro. Yeah. Yeah, they didn't show the Cali or the Protostar. Yeah, if that's I didn't we're talking about that. It's not just this episode; it's every episode on last season as well, for the 60th opening. Yeah. Joe Brown. I grew up in Minnesota. I can confirm. Minnesotans have more of a Canadian accent than I do. To be fair. To be fair. Grant McGregor, the 60-year Trek shown before the episode. I forgot the technical name for that. It's probably call it a bumper. I think it's called a bumper. But yeah, they don't have to have the Cali class or the Defiance or whatever. So, or the Protostar, I mean. It's a shame they don't. And that was actually brought up last year when we first saw that intro. Yeah, it kind of glazed over. There's also some mistakes with the ships. We covered that. It's fine. The 3D models I use aren't the best, but it's fine. Whatever. Jay Moore says, "Blah, ha, ha, ha. I sometimes hear and Haggins in like 1/10 of a second." Yeah. Joe Cool says, I should replay that Kelvin game. It was fun playing coach co-op. Yes. But if you play with the AI, sometimes the AI is fucking stupid and doesn't follow you properly and fuck up your game or your save points. Dante DeGraff says, I was a little confused how the phase through the ship's decks upward. I mean, they were probably using, there are ladders, Don't know. Also, when they said they were on deck 10, deck 9, and deck 8, moving up to deck 7, I think they were too low in the ship. I'd have to go back and look, but the secondary hull, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 should be in the neck, which is where they were headed. So, I don't know. I have to look at a schematic, but Jay Moore said, beautiful place, and I also know the Midwest. Oh, excuse me. Solaris, I'm waiting for the holodeck to come out, and games will be amazing. Jay Moore says, that pug is so happy. Yes. Yes, she looks happy, does she not? Fleet Pod, to be fair, if you watch Letterkenny, you know what that's about. To be fair, Aaron says, similar to that tech used by the alien race in SG-1. Trek or not, could tomorrow's Enterprise showcase the TOS refit near the end? Possibly. Could do a lot of things. It's a right now, it's Schrodinger's episode. It could be really good and it could be really bad. We don't know until we open the box and see. So it's got everybody's hopes up though, so it better not disappoint. Considering that it's on the 60th anniversary, they need to get it right. So Jay Moore, to be fair, I got that Letterkenny reference, LOL. I would pay so much for a Captain Foley Letterkenny podcast. Fucking love Letterkenny. And I grew up near Godrich, and that's basically where that's filmed. That's how people around here talk, and that's how people around here are, especially in the rural areas. And I grew up in the country, so not on a farm or anything, but my parents have like a 4.5 acre property. So I grew up between two small towns, and so I know all about. Letterkenny speaks to me. Aaron says they also had a similar tech used in Enterprise by Daniels. Josh Farrow, I was wondering how the phase cloaking device works. Does it remove the ship from the space-time continuum? It moves it into a different level of subspace. So it's out of alignment with the actual, it's hard to explain, but it's also simple. Phase cloak is just phase shifting it to a different I don't want to say reality because it's not. It's like a different level of subspace. So they could. It works like that. Grant McGregor. The reason why I noticed the bumper is because I didn't see Academy. You didn't watch Academy? Because in the bumper, the USS Athena is in that. So that is the Academy ship. Notice the bumper until now, I mean. Oh, okay. Yeah, but I think they were using it last year for Strange New Worlds. Or maybe they weren't. Maybe it was just Academy. Yeah, maybe they didn't have it last year. It was lead into the 60th, so yeah, I can't remember actually. So it's been around for a while though. Jay Moore says that secondary hull diagram looked wonky. I knew you would cover it though. It wasn't wonky. I mean, just where they said they were doesn't line up with where they were. That's all. Other than that, the diagram's fine, but it could be meh. It could be meh. Trek or not, could it be Shatner back talking about something that happened to Pike's crew? Possibly. That would be awesome. An old Kirk, maybe. Fleet Paw says they kind of sound like that out by Niagara too. Yeah, they do. Absolutely. Jay Moore says, me too. Lived in the rural suburbs, and we talk like that Letterkenny bro. Ooh. How are you now? Trek or not, some de-aging. Yeah, for sure. Josh Farrow, basically a subspace domain. Yeah, yes, thank you. Fleetpaw says they only use that intro for Academy, Stuart. Well, thank you, Fleetpaw. I wasn't quite sure. And then, yeah, I don't blame you for not watching it. So, Barry says, never ask how Star Trek tech works. It works very well. It works as the plot demands. Fleetpaw says it's not wonky. It's just that the Enterprise isn't scaled right and more squashed. Josh says LaForge talked about this when the aliens took crew members and ran experiments on them. Okay. All right, I'm caught up again. No, I'm not. Solaris. So, what about us down here in the southeast? Southeast where? What? What's happening? I'm in southwestern Ontario, so. Jay Moore. Oh my God, Captain Foley. If they don't get Shatner this year, it just hit me. He's 95 years old and they don't. That can happen. It can't happen. He's in good shape. He's lost a lot of weight. He looks like an older Kirk would look now. Like he's good. His physique is good. So I absolutely agree with you. That would be the perfect icing on the cake for the 60th anniversary. Just have Kirk return in some form. And not Paul Wesley's Kirk. I like Paul Wesley just fine as Kirk, but get Shatner back. Fleetpaw said, y'all are wonky and I love it. LOL. Solaris says, Southeast U.S. Oh, okay. Barry says, Shatner looks like he's 65. Yes. You know why? I swear to God, this is the truth. Shatner sold his soul to the devil to have success and fame. And you know how the devil always has a little twist on things? Yeah. Well, the twist was you're going to be successful. You're going to be known for a particular role that you're not going to really respect or like. Because he doesn't really care for Star Trek or Captain Kirk. It's been quite obvious over the years. So yeah, like live to 100 and have a long and prosperous career. He fucking made a deal with the devil. I guarantee that he did that. And that's why he's stuck with Kirk. And so he's rich and successful, but that's also why he's doing other stuff. Everything he can, from rap albums to singing albums to different productions to Denny Craig, all that stuff. Or Denny Crane, sorry, not Denny Craig, Denny Crane. All that stuff and TJ Hooker to get away from Kirk, but Kirk is his persona. It's the devil's deal. It's like, fuck you. It gave you what you want, but you're not going to be happy about it. Robert Buckley says, sorry I'm late. No problem, Robert. You missed a good one, though. Jay Moore says, it looked short and stubby to me. Maybe not excited for the mission. What the fuck? Josh Farrow said, what's the best Stat Trek movie in your opinion? You can't pick just one. That's a fucking fallacy. For me, the best movies, well, if I could only watch 3 Star Trek movies for the rest of my life, it'd be Star Trek 2, 3, and 4. It's a perfect trilogy. But Star Trek 2, Star Trek 4, Star Trek 3, Star Trek 6, Star Trek First Contact. That's about it. I like all the Star Trek movies, so it's hard to answer that question. Fleet Paw says Shatner is in great shape and he's a fucking pistol now. He didn't say one damn thing about his horse charities last year. Thank Christ. Trekyardians said, could be old Kirk reflecting on young Kirk commanded Pike Enterprise, maybe. Maybe, yeah, and it could be Paul Wesley doing the flashbacks. I'd be fine with that. Jay said, if they let the 60th go by without the Captain Kirk still alive and very aware, that would be a crime. I 100% agree with you. Fleet Paw says he heckled audience members who asked him questions. He fucking heckled me too, LOL. Grant McGregor, Cap and Chat. Shatner announced today he has stage 4 cancer in People's Magazine. He had stage 4 cancer, not has. He had stage 4 cancer. So did his daughter. They beat it. They're cancer free. Reread the article. Solaris says Shatner took care of himself and didn't do all the other stuff that came with that. Jay Moore, even give us 2 minutes. That's all. Preserve history. 100%. Robert Buckley says, as I said, shit hit the fan hard. Trek or not, Shad is actually great in prior Westerns. I spoke with him about them, and he was properly chuffed. Proper chuffed. Our book said, but what did I miss? Absolutely everything. We talked about the entire episode and how phenomenally awesome it is. And now we're just kind of winding down, hanging out, doing whatever. So you missed a lot. Go rewatch the live when I'm done. I think you'll enjoy it. Josh Farrow said, see, my favorites are Star Trek Wrath of Khan, the one with the... Fucking don't call it the one with the whales. I hate that. The one with the whales, First Contact, and Nemesis. I know people really don't like Nemesis, but I love the scene with that go-kart with the phaser cannon. So you don't like Star Trek 6? You don't like The Undiscovered Country? That's odd. Odd omission, but I mean, it might not be for everybody. That's fine. The one with the whales, please. Look at that. I'm all caught up and nobody's saying anything. I don't know if I missed any chats because I just realized my chat is set to top messages, not all messages. So hopefully I didn't miss anybody's comments. If I did, I apologize. I just changed it now, so a little bit late than never. But anyway, it's fine. Robert Buckley throws in 348. It's not amount, but thank you so much. Also found a few bucks, not much, but here. Thank you. Much appreciated. You did not have to do that. I appreciate that immensely. So does Sam. It helps us out great because honestly, YouTube's been a bitch lately. So Barry F said, I'm weird that I prefer the odd numbered movies. You like motion picture 3 and 5. I like 3. 3 is fantastic. You get a lot of new ships. I love 3. 3 is underrated in my opinion. Star Trek 5, I also enjoy. It's kind of a guilty pleasure. It's not as bad as everybody says it is, really. And yeah, so I'm kind of with you on that one. Fleet Paw throws in $5. Thank you so much, Fleet Paw. What about Naked Fan Dance? Hello, boys. I've always wanted to play to a captive audience. Trek or not, to understand Shatner's acting style, watch his Westerns. Joe Cool, I thought I was the only weirdo that liked Nemesis and Star Trek 5. No, man. I like parts of Nemesis. I tried rewatching it like last month. I'm like, I haven't watched Nemesis in a while. I'm going to throw it in. It's got to be better than I remember. And 30, 40 minutes in, I'm like, oh my fucking God. It's slow in a lot of spots, but it makes up for it in other areas. So, yeah. Yeah. So, Socks was great. Jay Moore says, Cap, no, you've hit all my silly comments. Yes, I have. Joe Cool says, I really like Star Trek 5 for the bridge. Yeah, I've talked about that bridge. I do like that bridge a lot. Solaris says, the ones that I really like is when the crew members are serving on a Klingon ship and pardon spelling. That's the whale one. Anyway, Trek or not, the CGI ruined the later movies for me when they stopped using models. Jay Moore says, Star Trek 5 is a guilty trek for me, but I realize it has issues. Same here. Yeah, absolutely. Actually, every one of the movies has an issue, at least one. Some have more. As we say on Trekyards here, we look for the good and bad in all Star Trek. No Star Trek is perfect. They've all got their flaws, even the best of them. So that's what we do here. We don't cherry pick things and be a shill channel or a hater channel. We don't do that. We don't pick a side. We're called the neutral zone of Star Trek channels for a reason, because we just tell it like it is, what works and what doesn't. So yeah. BJ says only real stinker is number 10. Rest are good to great for me. Don't really care for the First Contact, but it is a solid film with great stuff. Just bored of the Borg. Didn't like the Queen. Fleet Paw. I was watching 5 right before we went live. 5 isn't horrible. The special effects are different, but they're really good looking back then on it. Well, they used a new company for Star Trek 5. That's why the effects look different and feel off. Trek or not says Insurrection and Nemesis, the CGI was pure crap. I don't know. Insurrection had some great scenes in the Briar Patch and stuff. Also, the Shinzon battle at the end of Nemesis was really good, I thought, too. So you're wrong, Trek or not. It's fine. Robert Buckley, I love Nemesis and all its missing decks of Enterprise E. Yes. 26 decks. What? Trek or not. My faves are First Contact and Undiscovered Country, to be honest. Nice. BJ says, I love Star Trek 5. Watched review 2 days ago by the Transporter Room. They were mixed on it. Very much guilty Trek, but some great lines, shots, sets, and I like the music too. Yeah. We haven't got to reviewing Star Trek 5 yet in our Drunkyards movie reviews. I think our next one is 4. Yeah, I think we're up to... The next one we're going to be doing is 4. I don't know when that is. We'll have to wait and see. I like the music in Insurrection. Yeah, the music in all of them are pretty good. Yeah. Ooh, neutral zone. Robert Buckley, and Trekyards fleet protects the Trekyards neutral zone. Hell yeah. You guys are the fleet. We love you guys. Mr. Olive Stone says, haven't been here in a while. Looking great, Cap. Thinner? I wish. No. I really don't think so, no. But I appreciate you saying that. You don't have to butter me up. It's fine. Fleet Paw says, you mean those CBS shill checks you promised us mods aren't coming? I already signed the papers for the Ferrari. What the fuck, Stuart? Yeah, sorry. We're just keeping them all. We're signing them over to us, made out to cash. Trekyards says, ask Sam, LOL. He hates the later CGI. Yeah, but he will say that there's some good scenes, and there are. So, Jay Moore, the SPX, the SPX of Trek 5 really bothered me after the excellence of Star Trek 3 and 4, Star Trek 3, but 6 redeemed it. Yes. Yeah, 5's got some odd effects for sure. I wouldn't say they're bad, but they're not great. They're just different. So, BJ said, I really like Insurrection. Favorite TNG film. It's up there with numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Terrence Giles says, hey, Captain Foley, do you think that you have what it takes to join Section 31? No, fuck Section 31. I like Section 31 when it was Sloan and it was DS9. It was ambiguous whether you knew what this organization is, how big it is, and then it just leaked into Enterprise and leaked into everything. And now just Section 31. It ruined it for me. Fuck Section 31. Jay Moore, I think the only TNG movies I really like are Generations and First Contact. Sorry, eh? It's fine. I like Generations. Sam doesn't. I like Generations. I think it's great. BJ, Generations is growing on me. It's a good, solid film. Trek or not, I have been permanently lighter since losing my gallbladder. That's true. You are now lighter by 1 gallbladder. Hope you're coming out. Hope your recovery is doing well. Hope you're doing well. That's what I'm saying. Joe Cool says, how's the Camaro doing? I missed the away missions to Toys R Us and stuff like that. Well, Toys R Us actually closed. Both Toys R Us in London closed. They're closing Canada-wide now. So, unfortunately, yeah. Camaro's doing great. I almost took it for a drive today and then decided against it because I wasn't feeling very well mentally. But that's another issue. I think it's new medication I'm on. But regardless, yeah, I took the Camaro, you know, I try to get it out at least once or twice a week and just go for a nice drive. It's doing very well. Thank you for asking. Solaris. One scene in Star Trek V that surprised me was the dancing scene with Uhura that they kept in. Yes. Jay Moore. For me, it was TNG sets, upscaled for cinema, but the story, I get you. Jay Moore says SPX means special effects. Sorry, bro cap. I know what you meant. I was just fucking with you. Fleetpaw, usually that's SFX, not SPX. Yes. Barry says the whole Romulan Empire is like Section 31. Pretty much. Yeah, that's a good analogy. Solaris says, would you support a Babylon 5 and Star Trek crossover? Fuck no. Absolutely not. I think that's stupid. So yeah, you can find that stuff online. Look on YouTube. You'll find Babylon 5, Star Wars, fucking everything mixed with Star Trek. I no, absolutely do not do that. It's fun to watch like a battle, but that's it. It doesn't need to be a thing. No. So no, I do not support it. Absolutely not. I would vote against it. Trek or not, I am 97% equipped and functional. LOL. That's funny. Joe Cool says, oh no, you lost Toys R Us too? Jeez, yeah. Took a long time, but they priced themselves out of the market, I think, because everything there was so fucking expensive. It's a shame. There's talk that they might be coming back in select cities, but who the fuck knows? So yeah, me bragging, oh, for years, you guys lost Toys R Us in the States? Well, fuck you guys. We have 2 in London. 2. Why did I do that? We have 2 in London, and then the one at the far end of the city is closed down. I'm like, But the one close to me, like 5 minutes away, is like still there. So good. And then, yeah, it eventually closed. Anyway. Terrence says, doing terrible things for the sake of the Federation is what Section 31 is all about. Correct. Fleetpaw, I lost a good bit of weight and then plateaued and gained a few kilograms back. Getting back on the wagon, though. Well, good luck, sir, and good job on losing the weight. Jay Moore says Uhura was way more patient than I would be with a lippy Vulcan. Grant McGregor says, if you want to have something secretive that isn't Section 31, you can always have a sub-department of temporal investigations. Yes. See, I like temporal investigations a lot better. I would want to be a part of temporal investigations, first of all. I think that'd be cool. But yeah, I don't like Section 31. So anyway, Jay Moore, yes. Sorry again. SFX, my bad. No problem. I was just fucking with you. I assumed that's what you meant, but Aaron says, off to explore the star field. Might try to watch your other videos after them, since I work till 3:30 p.m. Pacific time and don't get home till almost 5. Oh, shits. Well, you can always watch the lives after the fact. I mean, you can't interact, but you can watch them still and see the interactions that were happening live. So check them out. It's worth it to go back and listen. At least I think so. Fleetpaw says, I think Ahura was just stunned by the lippy Vulcan. She was hot, though. Yeah. Jay Moore, the Vulcan cadet. I would point at her with scorn. Adapt to our environment. To clap. Or whatever your name is. To clap. I like that. I'm just calling her T'Lyn until I fucking can remember her name, because she's essentially T'Lyn from Lower Decks. She gets introduced like in a weird season. It's probably season 3 for Lower Decks as well. It would be interesting to see how many episodes she's in this season, because T'Lyn was introduced, then not in 2 episodes, and then showed up in another episode and played a pretty big role, and then gone for like 3 episodes and then came back. It's just weird the way they treated T'Lyn in Lower Decks. But anyway. Here it says, I know. Yeah, sorry. I was just fucking with you. Jay Moore says, don't hate the pixie cut, LOL. Oh, I don't hate that either. She looks good. Solaris says, Toys R Us didn't innovate, and they like you said, they priced themselves out of business. Yeah, everything was too expensive. To clap, LOL. Trek or not, we know Starfleet provides security, etc., but do we ever see police other than the JJ bot? Trying to think. I don't think so. It's a good question. And Odo, of course. Well, he's chief of security. He's not really a cop per se, but simplified cop, sure. Jay Moore, yay. T'Lyn. I could defrost that Vulcan heart, LOL. Trek or not, to Pringle, once you pop, you just can't stop. Once I pop, I'm done. You know, make sure she's done first, and then, you do your thing, and once I pop, I'm done. I kind of lose all interest. So, but that's just me. Maybe I'm just, I always like to, make sure that she's happy first, and then I like once I pop, I will not stop, but it'll take me a little while to get back into the, I'm older now. This went somewhere I did not mean to go. Jay Moore said, I didn't mean to be rude. Sorry. To clap is probably a very nice and smart person. To be fair. Classic for real, $5. Thanks for the Lego vid. I respect Sam's opinions as always, but you're totally right, Stuart. Thank you, Classic. I appreciate you. I'll probably be doing a video of my own on the Lego bridge next Friday on my personal channel. So, is it worth it? And I actually do think it's worth the price, but spoilers for my video. But anyway, we'll get to it. Her name is Asha. I prefer Ashit. Jason Roach says, didn't humans name Mars? It wasn't named Mars 65 million years ago, or did I miss something? Translation. It's lost in translation. It's that planet. So that planet, whatever they called it, gets translated to Mars, because that's what it is. Oh my God, we are all laughing and agreeing on Star Trek. Woo! BJ says, Toys R Us got bought by private equity in the States. I think leverage buyout, loaded with that bad ideas enacted, run into the ground. Usual private equity stuff. Yeah, I don't know what happened here. I know they were separate from American Toys R Us. And they lasted longer. Trekyards said, Lower Decks should have had a Romulan gardener. It's a rake. It's a rake. That would have been funny. Solaris, do you think that we might see the Cations before the end of season 5. Possibly. That would be awesome, actually, to see a live action Cation. I mean, we have seen them. There's one in Star Trek 4. There's probably one or two other ones running around. But yeah, the most prominent one was in Star Trek 4. That's the one with the whales, for anybody that doesn't know. So yeah. Fleepa to prickle. Better not fuck around, or who is going to make her find out? Jay Moore says, a new golden age. Who would have thunk it when this Enterprise first appeared? Mm-hmm. What's happening? I don't know. You tell me. $60 years. Wow, let that sink. Bruh. Joe Cool says, I want to see Lieutenant Eric's from the animated series. Yes. Him in live action would be great. We did get Endosian. That's what he is. We did get some Endosians in Lower Decks, but that's not live action, so it doesn't count. Fleepaw, wasn't the exotic dancer Catwoman Cation in 5 Cation 2 with 3 boobs? No, Cations don't have 3 boobs. She was another species. I can't remember the name of it. But yeah, the Cations don't. That's not a Cation. Jane Moore. Unibed appeared in Discovery. It birthed a much better show. I meant when it first appeared in Discovery, it birthed a better series. Yes. Classic Real Throws is $2. $2 every time Pug on screen. That's the rule. Well. Lola, you're making me money. And I'm going to spend it all on you anyway. Treats. Trek or not, which is better, the Lower Decks Strange New Worlds episode or this recent episode? Some cracking good episodes. The Lower Decks Strange New Worlds crossover was a good episode. This one, though, I just love the stakes. I love everything that this implies. Like, they're both good for different reasons. So, I don't know. But yeah. Bum, 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 bum. I mean, maybe the exotic dancer in Star Trek 5 was a Cation, but I don't think so. I think I read somewhere that she wasn't, but I could be wrong. I don't even know which reference book to look that up in, actually. Don't know. Usually I just grab a reference book and like scroll through, but will you do a Strange New Worlds episode ranking when it finishes? That's a lot to ask, but maybe. Probably. We'll probably do a tier list of episodes, but yeah, I don't see why not. I don't know. Jay Moore, Discovery gave us Strange New Worlds. In other words, but was it worth it for this episode? I can almost say yes. Yeah, it was absolutely worth it. For the Captain Pike series, that's what everybody wanted, and they listened, which was great. So, got to give them credit for that. And it's really paid off, I think. And you know, to be fair, Strange New Worlds has separated itself very much from Discovery. There are still 1 or 2 references here and there, but they've kind of put that to the side and don't reference it very often, if at all. So I appreciate them for that. But yeah. Strange New Worlds was very disco-like originally, so they did well to modify it. Yeah, they very quickly stepped away from stupidity and made their own thing. Jay Moore says, agreed, to be fair. How are you now? Yeah. Anyway. It's been a great live. I've really enjoyed this one. It's good when you have something fun and exciting to talk about and you're not fucking slugging through shit that you don't want to talk about because it's absolute shit. You know, it's fun to have something exciting and good to talk about. So, yeah, this has been a good live. It's cheered me up. I was absolutely miserable before dinner. Started cheering up when me and Sylvia, when she got off work, and now we were making dinner together. And then we watched the episode. I had a really good time watching it again with her. It's the first time she's seen it. I saw it earlier today twice. And then came up and did the live. And you guys have all cheered me up immensely. So I really appreciate that. I was really down in the dumps and not feeling very good at all. I felt worthless. I felt lost. I felt a lot of things, and I don't know why. So I felt directionless. Like I felt restless. I was going through a thing, but it started to get better when Sylvie got off work. So, right, we've been slogging for like 2 years now. Yeah, exactly. And a lot of my lives, I'm like, I don't know what to say about this episode. It was fine. And then 50 minutes into the live, I'm like, yeah, well, I think that's good. I think I'm going to go now. Whereas when I'm enjoying myself and having a good conversation with you guys and have good things to talk about, it's fun. I'm really enjoying myself. So Joe Cool says it was a great one. Hope it rolls on with the next one. Yeah, I hope the rest of the season is as good. At least, for the love of God, make the last episode, Tomorrow's Enterprise, fantastic. That's all I'm asking. Class for real, $2. Thank you so much. $2 to just have something good to talk about. Yes. Jay Moore, yay. Captain Foley, these real conversational lives are awesome. Thank you, Jay. I usually do stuff like this on my personal channel, so if you're not subscribed over there, go do that. I used to do these on a regular basis, kind of got out of it for a while, but I really enjoy them. I love just hanging out with you guys and talking about whatever comes up. So, come sit on my lap, talk about whatever pops up. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, these are fun. I usually have to be in the mood for them, but a lot of times you guys will cheer me up. So, anyway, thank you. I appreciate you guys. Solaris, Star Trek has done a lot better with spin-off series than Babylon 5 did. Yeah, I don't even know of any Babylon 5 spin-off series, so yeah, probably. I mean, probably to hear the name, I'd be like, oh yeah, but I can't think of any right now, so. Solaris, Star Wars has been okay with that as well. Yeah, there's been some good Star Wars stuff. Classic Friel, like when I felt from the day before Picard Season 3 premiered to the day when Picard Season 3 premiered. Fleet Paw said, did Sylvia rip Air Canada a new one yet, or is that still to come? Yeah, she had to wait 72 hours, but yeah, she's put in her complaints. She might be getting up to $700 back because of the delays, so... Fleetpaw shared my channel. Thank you so much. Please go subscribe over there. Check out the video tomorrow. It's on the Hallmark USS Cerritos ornament. And yeah. Joe Cool says, let's bring back the Captain Foley play-alongs and Bridge Crew and all the games. Oh, not a lot of people enjoy the Captain Foley games. Bridge Crew ones are great, but the one guy that I played with regularly, he's kind of dropped off the face of the planet. So have to find people to play with that know how to play the fucking game. But yeah, I mean, I'm down for doing stuff like that. As long as people watch. Jay Roach, is the ongoing full augment? We will see. I know, right? It's going to be a great season arc for her. Barry said, I would rewatch Babylon 5 again if I could. I've got all of Babylon 5 on DVD. Somebody bought it for me, one of the viewers, because I hadn't seen it all. And he bought me the complete series on DVD and sent it to me. I still haven't watched it yet, though. Me and Sylvia started watching it. We got through. Sylvia's watched it all prior to meeting me, but we got to like season 3, and then shit happened, and we kind of forgot about it. So, Classic Friel says, "Yeah, I mean, when Picard season 3 premiered, it's like we're back, is what I'm trying to say." Oh, yeah, absolutely, yeah. Fleet Paw, see, I may not be around much, but I do stalk your socials still. Creepy. Thank you. You should be on the lives more, man. I miss your presence. I miss having a moderator and a policeman in the comment section. So, do your job. Solaris, they had one Babylon 5 spin-off called Crusade and a few movies, but nothing like Star Trek or Star Wars. Oh, okay. I knew about the animated movie thing, but... Trek or not, did you order the Star Trek Picard Rebuilding the Bridge book cap? I did not. No. Kind of missed that one. That's okay. Solaris, YouTube TV has Babylon 5. Cool. Joe Cool, I think you might be right with La'an dying, and that's the final straw that crushes Spock and causes him to draw and go full Vulcan. Yes, I've said that for the last 2 years now. Yeah. Classic for real. Not gonna lie, I miss you, Fleet Paw. I miss Fleet Paw too, with every bullet so far, and even a few arrows. Yeah. Fleet Paw says, well, depending on how August and September go, I may be switching jobs, so I may be around more, thinking about going to UPS. Oh, nice. A friend of mine worked for UPS. Trek or not, what 3 movies are you looking forward to most this year? Well, Masters of the Universe. Oh, already saw that one. Mandalorian and Grogu. Oh, already saw that one. And Doomsday. That's coming up still, but also Dune. I was never really into Dune. I kind of hated Dune, but then the new ones are pretty good. So, and Sylvia's a big fan of Dune, so. Fleet Paw says, Bastard flung a sword at me once, too. Luckily, I dodged at the last minute. Speaking of, I've got some new swords, Fleet Paw, so next time you come and visit, you can totally ignore them as you walk around my house, and I might stab you in the back with one. So, that's something to look forward to. Imagine, for a minute, guys. Imagine this. Walking into this room, hanging out with Captain Foley. Walk into this room, look around and go, nice, and then leave. Is there not stuff here you'd want to look at? And the ready room. The ready room with all the geek stuff. You just stood there. Didn't ask any questions. Didn't look at anything. Didn't get excited about anything. It's like, oh, okay. We'll go back outside and sit on the deck then. Disappointed. Checking out Highlander. Yes, Highlander. I didn't know that was coming out this year. End of Oak Street and Star Wars Starfighter for me. Well, Star Wars Starfighter is next year, so I wasn't asked about next year. So I don't know when Highlander's coming out. Also, the Voltron movie that's going to go straight to streaming. Want to see that? Barry said I have 2 swords. None of them are for throwing. Fleet Paw. Oh, fuck. Here we go again. I'm just busting your balls. You know it. BJ, very much looking forward to Dune. Trekyards says, Death of Robin Hood, honorable mention. There's a pug on screen. Classic? I thought that's $2. Solaris says, isn't there a Halo movie in the works for the big screen? I don't know. I haven't heard that. Joe Cool, I want to hang out in the ready room. Hell yeah, you do. There's a couch in there and everything. Even a TV, we can play video games, whatever. But, you know, or you could just stand there and be like, huh, cool. And then want to leave instantly. But that's fine. Fipa, I was just excited to be in your presence, Foley. It was surreal and fun. I was a bit overwhelmed. Fair enough. Well, next time you come visit, which better be soon, by the way, you can maybe take it in. We can sit in here, have a discussion. You can have time to look around, move to the ready room, you know. Classic for real. I believe it's Fleet Paw's turn to super chat $2 for Lola. That's fair. Yeah. Jay Moore. Oh my God, I want a Babylon 5 channel so badly. A channel. We could call it Babylon Yards. Anyway. Well, guys, it's coming up to the 2-hour mark. I think I'm going to call it there. As much as I'm having fun, I do have stuff I got to do. Not really, but I need to wind down before bed. So I think I'll call it there and call it a night and a live, and appreciate you guys immensely. Fleetpaw throws in $2. Lola and Precious Tritos. Thank you, Fleetpaw. Much appreciated. And Classic as well for making him do that. Joe Cool. I think there's a Babylon 5 channel on Pluto TV. Oh, possibly. Hear them? They know I'm closing out, so listen to her. She's whining. Don't know if you can hear it. Classic for real throws in $2 as well. Lola is acting like a cat, so fine. Here's $2. Lola, what are you doing? I'm talking to you. Don't lick your paws. Don't growl at me. She's not growling. She's like snorting. She's trying to breathe. Anyway, I'm going to call it there, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Oh, my God. Rich Klein, $5. $5 for the pugs. Thank you, Rich. You guys are awesome. You're amazing. I love you guys. Make sure you come back next week on Thursday night, same time, around 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Hopefully it's a good episode we can talk about, but I'll try to make these 2 hours again because I really do like hanging out with you guys. There's the other night where I'm not feeling good. I might do an hour, but we'll see. If you guys want it, I'll do it. So anyway, listen to them as I say goodbye. So thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate you all. See, she knows my closeout. And I look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to check out our live review and breakdown of this episode. And let's see what scores we give it. I don't know if I'll give it a 10 out of 10 yet. We'll see. But yeah, tune in. And thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being you and for watching Trekyards and doing all the things you do. Appreciate you. So until next time, I'm Captain Foley, signing off. Bye, everybody.